Hello, I'm the country counselor. Thank you for tuning in today. Our previous two series, we did Schools and Fools, and where we talked about our concerns about our public school system and what our kids were learning. And in our last series was the cost of not training up our children in the way they should go. And the at the end of that, we really stressed about the roles that God gave the entities that He set up, which was the family, the church, and the government. And as we went over, I'm going to briefly touch on them. You know, the family's role was to love God and to learn the commandments and teach those to the kids. The Bible said, train up a child in the way they should go. Then the church's role was to preach the good news of Jesus, heal the sick, feed the poor. And then the government's role was to keep the people safe, punish evildoers, and reward those who do good. And what we focused on was that the family turned their role of educating the kids over to the church. I mean, not to the church, but to the government. It is not saying that everybody had to homeschool their kids, but they need to be very involved in what their kids were learning. And we know that that's not the case anymore. And then the church has turned over feeding the poor to the government. We're spending millions in food stamps, turned over health care to other organizations rather than doing its role, and then the government not doing theirs. And so again, the last series we looked at the cost of not training a child, and today we're going to look at the cost of the government and the church not doing their role. So as usual, we've got 7 poems, so stay with us. This is very, very important. The first 3 poems, actually, we're going to look at the government's failure to keep us safe. So let's now look at government's great failure. To follow God's plan and do government's role. To keep people safe, punish evildoers, and reward good. And the American people are paying a high toll. See, the government has done a good job with the military. I mean, having a strong military keeps evil nations at bay. And we have the bravest men and women on the planet. And that has always been America's way. But we failed to keep the homeland safe. I mean, our cities are just not safe anymore. And evildoers are allowed to run rampant. I mean, people are not even safe behind locked door. And this is because evildoers have not been punished. Judges just give them a slap on the wrist. And some cities have a no bail policy and they release them. And they get in the face of police and shake their fist. These evil beasts are in charge of our cities. And mayors will not give the police the power to bring this lawlessness under control. I mean, the situation in some cities is dire. And law-abiding citizens are living in fear. And they watch their businesses being looted and burned. And these beasts are already moving into neighborhoods. I mean, what's it going to take for us to learn? And they've already said they want to burn it down. And that's exactly what they'll do. And to stop it may take everyday citizens to protect the red, white, and blue. You know, I want to make a further comment about not punishing evildoers. Today is the 24th day of November 2020. Our election has not been settled. Most of the people in America think that Joe Biden's going to be our president. And I'm going to go out on a limb today, and against all odds, in a sense. And I believe that President Trump is going to maintain. I believe that this voter fraud, and there's a lot of it, and I believe it's going to be exposed. And I believe it's going to be revealed. But what I want you to see is voter fraud has been going on for many, many years. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. And there's been very, very few people that have been prosecuted over that. And because of that, I think there are tens of thousands of people that have been involved with this voter fraud in many, many, many different states. And I think we're going to see that. But I credit that to the government not punishing evildoers, because it's a felony to do what they've done. And so again, I'm going out on the limb that I think President Trump will stay in office, and we must punish these evildoers. So stay with us. We're going to continue with the government's failure. We got 6 more.